How's it going, y'all? It's your boy, Biggs, back at it again with PFA. This time, we're on week 3, going into probably the most threatening team of all time, the Miami Mimikyu. Now, if y'all like what y'all are seeing, make sure you like, make sure you comment, let me know what y'all think. Make sure you subscribe too, show me a little bit of love. But aside from that, let's go ahead and dive into week 3 and what I'm up against. So, a little bit of background. So, I am up against the Miami Mimikyu, which is coached by homeboy Connor. And Connor is a very threatening man. As you can tell, just like a little glimpse of what he's drafted. But he's been on quite a roll so far. 2-0, one of which is a 6-0, and yeah, he's just a really good player. Probably one of the most threatening players in this season. So yeah, let's dive into what he really has. So right off the bat, we have this good old Dragapult right here. Best mon in draft league, nothing too crazy. Yeah, Dragapult's just insane, 142 speed, so hard to work around, and just hitting so hard either way, and running just about any skill or ability he wants, with any move really that he pleases, with pivot as well, or setup, or just straight up damage, very hard to really counter. So this is a very threatening mon just right off the bat, and this mon gets some synergy with homeboy Tapu Fini, which is very bulky, getting up surge, so dragon moves do less, which actually works out really nice for Pult, more defensively speaking. But then yeah, just bulk water type as well, just very good 2 mon so far. Toxicity, not much speed, but still very hard hitting, especially with his ability, so like boom burst and all that, still mollywop pretty well. Swine, obviously, hard hitting and speed, oblivious, so if I bring Quillfish, Intimidate doesn't do anything. Thick Fat 2, just also a great ground type on his team that covers a lot. Serena, not as worried with this, just because of how my team's kind of built, because, yeah, it's pretty strong, but a lot of my mons do counter it pretty well, so it's still there, I guess. Same with Articuno, Galarian, somewhat fast, hard hitting, but not too worried about this. I know for sure, though, that Magmortar is definitely a sleeper pick in this battle, just because it's not the fastest, but it's a little bit fast enough to deal with what it needs to. Hits hard. Vital Spirit, Flame Bodies, both great abilities. And then just all these different moves that I can learn, just a lot of coverage, so I know that's definitely a sleeper pick. Same with Throw, kind of. Just pretty bulky when you run it through calcs. So it can definitely put in some work against my team as well, if I'm not careful around that. Skarmory, worst Corviknight, funny story, he keeps on trying to, trade me whatever it is to give him Corviknight, and I'm like, fat chance, bro. Fat chance when you got Pult. No way. But Skarmory's still pretty strong, Stealth Rock, spikes, all that. Even some World 1 strats, Body Press with its 140 base defense. Very strong, just mon in general, so that's something to look out for as well. Along with Umbreon, probably one of my least favorite mons to take on, other than Crest, just because of how bulky it is. Dark type, Synchronize, having Wish and Baton Pass and all these different moves, just a very bulky mod to look out for, because this can definitely tank a good chunk of my team. Rhydon, if I'm not careful around it, it could definitely hit hard, 130, 120. Definitely very bulky and just hits pretty hard. So there's that. And then last but not least, Drampa, which actually did work for him for week 2. Just because Connor was taking on a weather team and Cloud9 puts in work. But even then, he can still run Berserk or Sap Sipper and just really hit hard with anything. Having stab hyper voices, nothing to really scoff at, so yeah, that's really his team. Just very strong. His speed tiers are all over the place. He has bulk and very offensive threats. Hazard removal, hazards in general, just a very strong opponent that I think I'm at fault. Like, what is it? Where I think this is definitely like a harder matchup for me, for sure. So luckily, to kind of make this battle a little bit easier, I actually did some free agency picks. So for those who don't know, we can do free agency past week 2, going into week 3. Every week we have the option to drop at most 2 mons and pick up 2 new ones, as long as they fit within their respective tiers and points, and unlimited trades as well. So it really just depends on what I want to do to kind of counter the next week. But at the same time, they end, I believe, week 7 or 8, so I have to kind of be careful around how structured my team is going into, say, playoffs if I make it up to that point. So yeah, few changes I have so far. Let me get rid of this, because this isn't up just yet. So a few changes you might kind of notice. I do not have Cresselia and I don't have Tangela. Reason being, I kind of realized I don't like bulky bulk, So I was just like, you know what? I'm not going to use Cress, really. I'm not going to use Tangela all that much. I can get better mons that fit my playstyle. So the first one I dropped was Tangela for Gourgeist. And Gourgeist, very strong. It can be just about any of these pumpkins. Same defense all around, but I could either be fast, I could just hit hard, I could eat, all that good stuff. Frisk is also just an amazing ability as well, so that's just nice knowing what your opposing team has, and then just a good move set. So that's the first FA of this week, and then the next one was good old Cresselia for Scolipede. So this one was a little bit difficult, just because I was like, I could use an electric type, I could also use, a better ground typer. So, but at the end of the day, I was like, for Connor, this could actually go pretty well. Just because I'm up against a Dragapult, for God's sake, so speed boost is insanely good. Scolipede's known for setup, so 100 base attack with constantly increasing speed is just so good. And just has barely enough coverage to kind of cover what I want it to take on, so yeah. Those are the 2 FAs. And I assure you that they will put in some sort of work later on in the season. So yeah, this is what I have going into Connor's team, Miami Mimikyu. And yeah, this was very hard to prep for. But I did kind of find some stuff that I wanted to do. So first off, we have Homeboy Victor. Our good old Kyurem with a Solic Berry. Rocket Ice Beam, Freeze Dry, Focus Blast, Earth Power, with just enough speed to where if I was +1 speed with Solid Berry, I outspeed Jolly Dragapult, or just plus speed Dragapult, and just do damage. Now, I was kind of, I don't know, like, thinking a lot about what to do with Kyurem, just because it does pretty well against a good chunk of his team, but at the same time, Kyurem gets bodied by a lot if I'm not under the right circumstances, so Kyurem is just kind of there to take on more of good damage on Tapu Fini, what else? Skarmory, if I'm for a reason predicting something with that, I don't know, but I can do damage with that. What else? If I can somehow outspeed Magmortar, Earth Power is there. I think just because of my base speed, I still outspeed either way, so Earth Power is the move with that. What else? Mamoswine doesn't like a Focus Blast, and I can maybe tank something from that. And what else? Just also a good counter for, Serena, Galarian, Articuno, Drampa. Umbreon actually likes to take Focus Blast, just because it's so bulky, but it is what it is. It's still good damage. Toxicity doesn't like any Earth move at all, so Earth Power, But, yeah, it's just a nice... Oh, not that. It's just a nice mon to bring into this week, just to cover a lot, and maybe take a hit, so... That's Victor, homeboy Victor. After Victor, we have Focus again, Blacephalon. Rocking the same set as last time, except with a few changes to our EVs. Just because I want to make sure I outspeed that Pult, assuming it's not Scarf itself, but Fire Blast, Shadow Ball, Explosion, Knockoff is the way to go. In case, I have to drop a Shadow Ball on Pult, or Galarian, Articuno, or just do some good damage on anything else. The only issue with bringing Blacephalon is I am not only walled by Tapu Fini, but Drampa as well. Like, I can knock them off, but I just give them a free move, and they probably OHKO me, so it's a little bit of a risk, but at the same time, I need something to take on Skarm reliably, so yeah, Hocus is definitely a must bring for just that fire type against this team, so yeah, I'm hoping it does pretty well with that. Up next, we got Clockwork the Corviknight back again with Brave Bird the Fog Roost U-Turn. I believe this was the set last week as well, but I think a little bit more of a change to its EVs. This time, I'm running a little bit more of a specially defensive Corviknight. Reason being that Clockwork can take on a Dragapult pretty well. The only instance of Dragapult doing damage is, Fire Blast doing good work, but I can definitely take it on, especially if I'm invested with Spadef, so I can tank it, I can do some damage, maybe even Roost or something, I can do a lot against this team with this. Again, this is kind of walled out by, an Umbreon, a Skarmory. I can maybe take on a Tapu Fini, but if it's like a setup, Tapu Fini then is gonna kind of go wrong really quick, so, I mean, there's that, but it just takes on a lot of his team pretty well, so I can see Clockwork doing a lot this week, so yeah, that's a good old tank and Clockwork. Up next, we got our debut of Scolipede, the Beast. Shout out if y'all get the Bug Fable reference. Now, we have with Scolipede, Life Orb, Speed Boost, obviously, Mega Horn, Poison Jab, Sword Stance, and Earthquake. So, fun fact, after one Sword Stance, if I get it off, I basically take on anything and Oko anything except his Skarmory. So, with that in mind, I kind of just EV to where +1 outspeeds Polt, obviously, and I believe +2 Megahorn actually is in range for an Oko against Dragapult. I could be wrong, because the battle was actually a little bit back then, but it's still really good for this battle, especially against Tapu Fini, Magmortar. What else? Umbreon. This is definitely the counter to Umbreon. And just the rest of his team. I guess, what is it? I guess Galarian Articuno could maybe take a hit at +2, but I'm not really sure about that. And then Mamoswine as well can kind of cause issues, but this is still kind of a must bring since, what is it? Most of his team just doesn't really like Scolipede, so this is definitely the move. So, yeah. Up next, we have the return of the POG Puff. You already know, Puff Puff. This week, kind of the same build, but different items and all that. So, this is Air Balloon Slurpuff. So the idea was, I would either go Air Balloon or run like a Kabia Berry, I believe it's called, for if he brings Toxicity. But I didn't necessarily know if God, what's his name again? Hold up, I gotta check this shit. Hold up. Toxtricity. Okay, I got you, y'all. Okay. Ignore me. Ignore my English. Toxtricity. I didn't know if that was necessarily a must bring for him, so instead of just running the berry and being safe with that, I opted to go Air Balloon. And so whenever Slurpuff gets hit, it'll pop, and Unburden will just it'll be in effect. So the idea is I'll set up a Calm Mind that gets popped, maybe even get off 2 or something, and then I just well off with Draining Kiss, Thunderbolt, and Psychic. Now this week it was kind of a 4-move syndrome with Puff Puff, just because I wanted to also run Surf as well, just to cover Magmortar and Mamoswine a little bit better, but I think Psychic was definitely a must bring for if Toxtricity actually came, and Thunderbolt was necessary for Skarmory, so yeah, and then Draining Kiss is just stab that I need, so that's the moveset we're rocking with. Kind of the same it's EV build as last time, just all in special attack, a little bit in HP and defense, and just enough speed to outspeed everything when I have Unburdened, so the Pog Puff. Yeah, that'll definitely put in some work. I'm very sure of it. And then last but not least, another first debut for homegirl Vivian. Shout out Paper Mario, you know. This is gonna be Gourgeist Super, so this is more very hard hitting Gourgeist with Choice Band, Frisk, and then its moves with Power Whip, Poltergeist, Shadow Sneak, and Toxic. With just a very average build of max max attack, and then all that. I think I put 8 instead of 4 into speed to... I think it was more the idea of if he tried to EV something to just barely outspeed a non-invested speed Gourgeist, with like Rhydon or Drampa or something, because that could have been problematic, so I just kind of did that, and pulled that off. But yeah, this is very much just a very hard-hitting Gourgeist. It's supposed to do, I believe, 80 to 90 to a Dragapult with Shadow Sneak, and just take some lives, at least take a name, do good damage. I'm pretty sure Skarmory still eats up whatever I throw at it. Kind of the same with Umbreon. But at the end of the day, its purpose is to just kind of, find out what item my man has and then take him out. So, all that fun stuff. And yeah, that's the week 3 team against Homeboy Connor. And now let's go on to see what we're up against. All right. Let's take a look. Now, Homeboy Connor, bring the Dragapult, the Tapu Fini, Skarmory, Toxtricity, Umbreon, and Magmortar. This is kind of what I was expecting. I was maybe thinking Mammothswine could have came as well, but this is definitely a very strong team to go up against, and going into this, I was like, I'm ready to get my ass beat, so let's see what happens with this. Let me go and switch sides, so I'll get my perspective, and he's gonna straight up lead with the Dragapult, and I lead off with good old Vivian. So I should have seen this coming, just because I knew he led Dragapult the last 2 games, so I should have just seen this again coming, but leading Gourgeist is nice just because I know this isn't Scarf, this isn't any sort of choice, it's just extra belt, and he can kind of switch between his moves freely, so I now know that, and something else could definitely be choice for sure. But I'm kind of looking at the situation like, okay, what can I do? What can I do? Because I could probably drop off a Shadow Sneak and just do damage right off the bat. Or I could expect something else to come in, like Skarmory, or just something else, and he just kind of, or even Umbreon actually, and then I just kind of do nothing. So I actually kind of go for a big move, and I go for a Poltergeist, thinking, I can take him on. He actually goes into Magmortar, and he loses that right off the bat. And so that's actually pretty huge. I was actually just really expecting Skarmory or Umbreon to come in right there and just kind of reveal their items as well. But him switching into Magmortar, expecting, I guess, a Shadow Sneak or just something, literally anything else, and not banded Gourgeist, and just taking that right off the bat is so good. And even after all this, I think it turns out this Magmortar was built to primarily counter Slurpuff, so that's also really good to know. So after that, he's gonna go straight into good old Umbreon. I see this, I'm like, okay, this is what should have happened before, but I can freely go out into something that can take this on, or at least pose some sort of threat. So I go into Corviknight, just kind of take whatever he's going to throw at me, as he goes ahead and Baton Passes, actually, as he goes into Toxtricity. Homeboy, hot topic, I see you, bro. But this is definitely scary, just because I don't know what this thing's about to do. It could definitely set up or just go straight for damage, but either way, I'm just like, okay, I need to switch out, go into Kyurem, as he actually Volt switches, and that does 17%. I did not look over the damage calcs personally at this point, just because I was so in the battle, so I was just like, okay, he's gonna switch out, cool. And he's gonna go straight into Umbreon, actually, where I believe I just go straight for the Focus Blast. and just get off that damage. And he actually baton passes right here. So already, him switching out when he only has half health left is actually pretty big for some of the kills that I can get. So I'm fine with that. So he's gonna go for Dragapult right here. Good old Basil Geese, you know. Peep the theme in the background. But I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay. I think he probably pulls another Yui out and maybe predicts me to switch. So I'm gonna stay in and, you know, Ice Beam. Not the case. I just go down. He's gonna take that body. I'm gonna give him that one kill, which is honestly fine, just because Kyurem got off 50 on Umbreon. Couldn't really do much against anyone else, to be fair. I guess against Toxtricity, it would have been an issue without him, but we'll find a way, you know. But that's the first kill for Dragapult. Then we go into the POG Puff, with its air balloon. And now I'm just kind of in this position where, assuming he goes for something strong or just opts to switch out, I just got off a free Calm Mind, and I just gonna do my thing. So he's gonna actually switch out into Toxtricity as a Calm Mind, and I'm just kind of over here like, hey yo, go ahead, pop it. Hey, you know you want to, bro. You know you want to. And then my commissioner's just over here like, oh, okay, I see you. Okay. And then all that fun stuff. So I'm +1 Spadef against a special attacking Toxtricity. This would definitely still take me on very hard, but we will see what happens. As he Sludge Bombs, gets off 92, and does not get the poison. If he got the poison, this would have been a completely different game. But luckily, the RNG is not in his favor for that. And actually, let me switch this to dark mode. That's actually a little bit cooler, yeah. But that doesn't happen. The balloon pops. I believe I get off another Calm Mind. And here we see some love. Bada bing, bada boom. He is gone. So, that out of the way, beautiful. And now Slurpuff actually takes on just about everyone with its moveset. So, yeah, he's gonna go into good old Mifa, Tapu Fini, as I'm actually gonna opt to Draining Kiss just to get some health back, because I don't know if he wants to just Scald or do something else just to take this out. So I just kind of opt to get some of my health back and just see what he does. So I actually get back 27%, which is so good. And he actually Calm Minds. So I see this, I'm like, alright, if you want to do that, I'm going to just go for the T-Bolt. I don't care. And so I do that. I get off a nice solid 54 as he Calm Minds again. And really, he can't really do much else from here. So I just launch off another T-Bolt. So now Slurpuff has 2 kills, right? It's a 5v3. This is still anyone's game, in my eyes, just because Dragapult is such a threat, and Skarmory can still tank me pretty well. But unfortunately, because he didn't opt to go Skarmory first instead of Tapu Fini, he just doesn't have his Fini anymore. And now, his Skarmory either way has to take this, go into Sturdy. And unfortunately, you know, that's the end for the Pog Puff. But Homegirl did some work. It got rid of some threats, got 2 kills, and then put Skarmory into, into Sturdy range. So, or got it down to Sturdy, I should say. So, Kushala.aura, not really a threat anymore. So, much love to the king, or the queen, I should say. So I'm just gonna actually opt out to go into Hocus. So I was actually kind of debating hard on who gets this kill, just because of, for one, MVP, you know, but also what he's gonna do if he's gonna actually preserve this Skarmory. So I think what I do is I actually just opt to just go straight for the Fire Blast and get off damage. So there's that. I'm now +1 special attack. Obviously with Scarf I outspeed everything. And now with the mist off, he's gonna go into Umbreon. And I actually calc this because I'm like, okay, what can I do? And +1 Fire Blast has, I believe, can do at max 55%, and then the lowest is like 49. So this is definitely a roll depending on how he's built. But either way, I just stick in and see what he does. He's gonna protect, actually get back some of that health, and yeah, he's just gonna go back up to that. Or actually, I think I'm still in the range to kill. It might have been a little bit higher for Fire Blast since it's Fire Blast +1 plus stuff, but I just launch off another one. I bring it down to 3%, and he just Fire Plays and takes me out. So I lose that, but he's still down to a almost dead Umbreon and a Dragapult. So at this point, I'm kind of thinking, okay, I think because he already revealed Protect, so I definitely think he's just gonna try and freak out and Protect again, just to try and get back as much health as he can. So with that, I go into Scolipede, set up a Sword Stance, but then I'm like, yeah, now I'm +2. But the thing is now, he actually just Foul Place and takes me out. So I'm like, oh, that's a little unfortunate. Okay. Yikes. But I'm still in the chance to win. It's 2v2. Still think it could be anyone's game, almost. I actually opt to go into Corviknight right here, because I have U-turn, and I believe with just how much damage I can do, I take that out. So I think if he actually protected, he might have had just enough health to just live that. But either way, it would have been hard for him to do that. So U-turn makes me go into that. Good old Gourgeist versus Homeboy Dragapult, Basil Geese, And at this point, it's 2v1. I know I can take whatever hit I want against this Dragapult right now. And just kind of do whatever. So I actually just go for the Basil Geese, or the Shadow Sneak. And he's going to actually Fire Blast. And both of us are just barely living at this point. And so I'm just looking at this like, alright, do I just stay in and let this go down and lose differential, or do I risk a Fire Blast to Corviknight? And knowing how Corviknight's built, I think I can actually take up to 3 Fire Blasts, so I just opt to switch out and save my differential a little bit. So he actually Dragon Darts just to play it safe for damage, because he thought I was gonna just sack that. And with that, he's gonna miss this Fire Blast. I'm gonna hit this Brave Bird, and with that, we beat Connor 2-0. I did not expect to win this at all. I'm just gonna say that straight up. I'm fucking shaking, Oh my god. I think overall, Connor had some questionable players here and there, going out into Feeny and not just saying, alright, I have to get rid of Skarm and just preserve the last 3 to take on my team, Umbreon, Feeny, and Dragapult. But either way, I think he prepped pretty well. He had a pretty good game plan going into it. His Mag Border after the game, I found out, was Assault Vest with Clear Smog, so Slurpuff would have been shut down. straight up. And I believe his Tapu Fini was actually a setup Fini, so it had Iron Defense and Calm Mind with Stored Power, so that would have been dangerous as well. And I'm pretty sure if I didn't have anything else for that, I would have been quite fucked. But either way, that was a good game, both sides. I believe in terms of kill leaders and MVP, the leaders are now Homegirl Slurpuff with 4 kills, and also Corviknight with 4 kills. I believe Corviknight's actually a little bit higher just because I think it has 1 less death. But actually, no, they're both 4 and 1 in kills and deaths, so that's great. I love that. Next week I take on an undefeated team, actually the only undefeated team in, I believe, I know it's Coach Mike, but I forget his team name. I believe the Vegas Aegislash, but either way, that'll be next week. But if you guys enjoyed this video, if you like what you see, make sure you let me know below what else you want to see. Make sure you make sure you just, show some love, all that fun stuff. I hope you have a great day, and I'll catch you all next time. Later.